Jennifer woke up with a worried face. Today was the day for her court hearing regarding her child's paternity. Jennifer had been in between two relationships, her ex, James, and her proposed fiancé, Michael. Michael had promised to end their marriage proceedings if the child, Raymond, wasn't his. This had given Jennifer a lot of anxiety and sleepless nights. As she stood in front of the mirror, lost in thought, she prepared for the day. On the other side, Michael, her proposed fiancé, stood in front of the mirror, preparing for the day. He couldn't help but think about what the day might bring. His feelings for Jennifer had been on the high edge. He so much loved her and wished the child to be his, so the doubts would be cleared, and they could proceed with their wedding plans. As they both arrived in court, looking nervous and tensed, the judge walked in. A woman in her late 50s, wearing a judge's robe, she walked in and took her seat. Then the case file was given to her by the clerk. She read it out loud. Mr. Michael and Ms. Jennifer, you have come to the court today to know the paternity of your child, Raymond, so you can continue with your marriage planning. Mr. Michael, you have said here that you can't marry her if you are not the father. Yes, Your Honor, Michael replied. The judge looked at him skeptically and turned to Jennifer. Jennifer, tell me about your relationship with Mr. Michael. Michael has been my best friend since high school. He had always complained about his background and upbringing, saying how terrible it was. So I talked to my mum about it, and we brought him over to our house to live with us. But at that time, we weren't dating. I was dating James, which is now my ex. Michael knew about it. So one day, while we were sitting on the couch seeing a movie, he kissed me. I told him to stop, that he knows I have a boyfriend, which he did. So the next time we were swimming, when he kissed me under the water. When we came to the top, we kissed again and had unprotected sex. The judge, looking shocked, asked, did this continue after then? Jennifer replied, yes, Your Honor. It did continue. We had sex, unprotected, almost every day while staying together. The judge asked, did your ex know anything about this? No, he didn't know, Your Honor. He never suspected anything too, as well. The judge turned to Michael and asked, what can you say about this? Michael responded, all she said is true, Your Honor. We were never dating. Have you been bonding with the child, Mr. Michael? Yes, I have been bonding with Raymond since he was born. I love him with everything. I just wish he was mine. The judge asked, Mr. Michael, did you sign the birth certificate when he was born? No, Your Honor. Jennifer asked me not to sign it since we aren't sure of the child's paternity. The judge turned and asked Jennifer, did you say that to him? Yes, Your Honor. I didn't want to put him under any difficult situation, the judge replied, that's good and brilliant of you, Jennifer. Jennifer, take me to the time of conception. When I went to see my doctor about the time of conception, she said it was between October 12th to October 25th. And at that time, I had sex more often with Mr. Michael and just twice with my ex. The judge replied, it doesn't matter who you did it more often with. It doesn't work that way. The judge continued, do your ex-boyfriend know you were pregnant at that time? Yes, Your Honor. I told him, but I also said I wasn't fully sure if it was his. The judge turned to Michael, how did you feel when you heard the news that she was pregnant? At first, I didn't know what to say, but later on, I was happy. Happy of being a father very soon. The judge asked Jennifer, have you updated your ex that you have given birth? No, Your Honor. He has blocked me on every means of communication, and has told all his friends never to share his whereabouts. I have reached out to the father, but he doesn't know where he is too. The judge replied, "That's too bad. But let's get to the end of this today." The judge called unto the clerk to bring the DNA test results forward. The test was handed over to the judge, and she read out loud, "In the case of Mr. Michael and Ms. Jennifer for the paternity of 10-month-old Raymond, it has been determined by this court that Mr. Michael, you are not the father." The courtroom fell silent, with all eyes on Michael. He looked like he had been punched in the gut, his face pale and his eyes wide with shock. Jennifer, too, looked stunned, her eyes welling up with tears. Michael slumped back in his chair, his body language screaming defeat. He couldn't believe what he had just heard. All his hopes and dreams of being a father to Raymond had been shattered in an instant. Jennifer's mother, who was sitting in the back of the courtroom, rushed forward to comfort her daughter. "It's okay, sweetie," she whispered, holding Jennifer tightly. "We'll get through this together." The judge's voice brought Michael back to reality. "Mr. Michael, I know this isn't the result you were hoping for, but I want to commend you for your bravery and selflessness. You have shown that you are a true partner to Ms. Jennifer, and that you are willing to put her and her child first, even if it means sacrificing your own desires." Michael nodded slowly, still trying to process the news. He looked over at Jennifer, who was still crying, and felt a pang of sadness. He knew that this was going to be a tough road ahead, but he was determined to be there for Jennifer and Raymond, no matter what. The judge continued, "Ms. Jennifer, I hope you understand that this result doesn't define your worth as a mother or a person. You deserve all the happiness in the world, and I hope you find it." Jennifer nodded, still sniffling. "Thank you, Your Honor," she whispered. The judge banged her gavel, signaling the end of the hearing. "This court is adjourned," she announced. As the courtroom began to clear, Michael stood up, his eyes locked on Jennifer's. "I'm still here for you," he whispered, taking her hand in his. "We'll get through this together." Jennifer smiled weakly, her eyes still shining with tears. "I know," she whispered back. "I love you." Michael's heart swelled with emotion as he looked at Jennifer. He knew that their love was strong enough to overcome any obstacle, and he was determined to prove it. As they walked out of the courtroom, hand in hand, Michael knew that this was just the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. They would face the future together, as a team, and nothing could ever break that bond.